This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
That breaking news at 11 o'clock. Protests in downtown Portland have certainly picked up in the last couple hours as people are demanding justice for George Floyd, the man who died while in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have two crews out, so let's check in with our Jennifer Dowling as well, who's at that location more in the downtown area. Jem?
Good evening. Yeah, it's deteriorated here at the Justice Center very quickly. We've got two groups of protesters that have now come together, and you can hear them trying to break into the Justice Center. They're throwing things at the windows. There's graffiti on the windows. You can see someone inside rolling up a blind or a shade, and people, it looks like there's people inside in a black hoodie and a black mask. It looks like they've gotten into the Justice Center there. You can see through the windows right there. People are yelling. They're trying to smash it with, it looks like they've broken the glass. Can you see that right there? Right over that graffiti with an expletive. Sorry about that, folks. There's a lot of that out here right now.
Oh my God.
The crowd is getting pretty riled up.
Hey.
As I said, the conditions here for this protest have gone downhill fast. That Justice Center is just getting trashed right now. They're throwing things inside. They're destroying it. You can see them breaking more windows. This is the worst I've ever seen the protest get here in Portland.
We're in front of the Justice Center, Jennifer. They just lit it on fire right here. Look at this. They were inside breaking up windows. Jennifer was showing you that. They were tagging the windows, breaking up windows, running through those cubicles inside. Now they have lit it on fire. They have written George Floyd in red on the front. People going in and out. It's just insane. I have not seen police, but I have heard them. They have said, they have told their crowd to disperse. They said this on the loudspeaker, disperse, or they will throw gas and bring out the sticks.
I feel like there's going to be some police action here pretty quick. Sorry, this is a very fluid situation. Matt and I are trying to keep up. We've got this huge mob scene up here. Just broke into the Justice Center. They're being told to stay back right now. I think they're going to move in on these protesters. We've seen a lot of damage. People were inside the Justice Center throwing things around. We saw windows smashing. We saw office supplies flying through the air. We saw people rushing into the building. And now it looks like police are moving in. They've been pretty quiet here tonight. We haven't seen a lot of police activity, but it looks like they have mobilized. And we have got tactical gear, officers clad in tactical gear here. It looks like they're getting ready to surround the Justice Center and protect it after people broke in and smashed through. We heard there's some trouble perhaps at Central Precinct, some people trying to get in, but we haven't been able to get down there. We've been blocked by cops, and they're coming this way in a wall of police action. You can see them marching toward us, and we want to move. We want to move. This is a chaotic situation in downtown Portland here. What, Matt? Matt's talking? A Microsoft window. Okay, Matt's telling me. Our photographer Matt's been doing a great job tonight. Microsoft window has been smashed. We've got a protester here trying to do some more damage. It did not work though. Apple Store looks like it got graffitied as well. We see people marching with signs and onlookers. It's rare to see somebody trying to break into a window right in front of your cameras, but we can see that right now, and we just saw that at the Microsoft store and Bangkok Palace back there, also at the running store. Glass shattering everywhere. This is going to be a mess.
And we want to take a look at what they're doing.
Look at this right now.
Yeah. Dowling, can you hear us?
Yes, you can see people breaking into Pioneer Place and running inside Pioneer Place right now. They are going inside Pioneer Place. They've broken the windows to the entrance at 4th here, Southwest 4th and Yamhill, and they're going into the mall. There's graffiti all over. They are coming out. Looks like, do they have items in their hands? It looks like some people have items in their hands. It looks like they've broken into the shopping complex, Pioneer Place, and people are taking merchandise out of the stores.
This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
Buildings gone, towns threatened, people grabbing whatever they can and running for their lives. A historic firestorm has hit Oregon, a once-in-a-generation event. Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 5 o'clock. I'm Dan Tilkin.
I'm Jeff Gianola. The state on fire right now. 6 major fires are burning across Oregon. The governor invoking the Emergency Conflagration Act for the Holiday Farm, Lion's Head, and Beachy Creek fires, calling this a once-in-a-lifetime event. Clackamas and Marion counties have also declared states of emergencies.
We have live team coverage of the fire response, the evacuations, and the help given to evacuees.
First, we want to switch to our Wayne Haverly on the ground in Staten, Oregon, and the sky tells the story. It looks like midnight where you're at, Wayne.
Yeah, it really feels like I'm in a different time zone here in Staten. This air so thick with that heavy ash just burns the eyes here in Staten. And it's just been heartbreaking today to see so many homes and businesses burn right in front of us. We took a drive about 15 miles down the road to Mill City a little earlier today. Rural firefighters scramble from fire to fire along this road near Mill City. But there are far too many to handle, and these fires move fast. All right, you can see the fires in that fir tree back there starting to crown, and sadly, you can see several buildings here have gone up. There's some intense heat coming out of the, looks like a dumpster there, and some storage containers catching this tree on fire. We're going to have to move back. We have heard some explosions from some propane tanks here at this house, but it looks like a couple of buildings have been taken out here. There's still one home remaining, but you can see there's fire burning right behind the house. If you can see that, Bill, right behind the house, that it's coming up on the house here. So we're going to have to back off here just to stay safe. You can hear propane tanks kind of burning in the distance, blowing up throughout this area as there are spot fires, and firefighters are stretched extremely thin right now. Those trying to escape, like Lee Stone from Gates, just watched important landmarks in his hometown burn to the ground.
There's an old school they use for some kind of training now. It's not an active school, but it's an old school. It's gone. It's burnt to the ground. Most of the homes burning near Mill City are on the north side of the North Santiam River, but there are spot fires throughout the entire area. I talked to a camp host from Detroit Lake who evacuated last night and made a frightening journey to Salem.
I've never have been in a fire, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be in it again. It is so hot. We were on the road and in the middle of the road, and you could feel the heat.
It's already been a long, exhausting battle for these firefighters, a battle that still has no end in sight. Now, if there's any good news to report tonight, it's the fact that, at least out in this area, the winds have really calmed down. Nothing like what we saw this morning or last night when all of this got started. Back to you.
Quite the images there, and even looking behind you, this is just surreal times right now.
This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
The weather is changing, but the danger continues as wildfires burn across the region, forcing thousands from their homes tonight and taking the lives of at least 5 Oregonians. We're breaking into your regular programming here for a quick update on the wildfire situation. Here's the latest on the fires. 1 million acres of land have now burned across Oregon, and we just learned of 2 more deaths, bringing the total to 7 people now reported dead, including a teenager and his grandmother in the town of Lyons, Oregon. More than 40,000 people are evacuated from their homes at this hour, and tonight 500,000 homes remain in evacuation zones, most of them under a be ready or be set to go order. In Lincoln County on the coast, the 2,400-acre Echo Mountain Complex fire has now destroyed at least 100 homes.
Well, we don't know the patient's condition. We know it's an adult and they worked for the elementary school, but we don't know exactly what's going on with their health at this time, only that they're hospitalized in the buildings behind me. They did say during a press conference today that they're very concerned because this patient never traveled anywhere. They didn't go to the impacted areas where we know coronavirus has been detected. So they say this could be being spread by someone that we don't know about yet in the community.
This afternoon, we learned that we have Oregon's first case of the COVID-19 coronavirus.
The governor is trying to calm the community after the first confirmed case of coronavirus has hit Oregon.
Oregonians should know that we are taking this very seriously.
The Oregon Health Authority says staff has launched into overdrive trying to determine who the person has come in contact with.
We are working tonight and through the weekend to determine where this person spent their time, who may have had close and prolonged contact with that person.
The patient reportedly hasn't traveled to any affected area, causing concern that this is now within the community.
There was no known travel exposure for this individual, so this is a case of community spread of the disease, much like the case from California earlier this week.
After criticism from a delay in testing in the recent case in California, state health officials in Oregon say the CDC has widened testing parameters. Oregon health officials say it now includes people with serious respiratory illnesses who are hospitalized but haven't traveled.
And they've also committed to ramping up the state public health lab testing capability, which was able to come online today after it was being certified. So yes, the CDC is working to increase that capacity so that we are able to test the people that we're investigating who need that test so we can confirm whether or not they have this new virus.
Governor Brown is asking people not to panic.
I also want to encourage Oregonians to go about their daily lives, to stay calm, and as Pat and the doctors have mentioned, to take appropriate public health safety concerns, including covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze, using a tissue, washing your hands thoroughly, and if you're sick with the flu or a cold, to stay home from work or from school.
And because this is a presumptive case, the CDC has to do one final test before it is officially confirmed. The Oregon Health Authority says they are also looking at a second person who has symptoms of coronavirus, but they haven't had a positive test yet. They're in the process of testing that person right now. Back to you.
Although the Oregon Employment Department has made some progress getting through that backlog of initial regular unemployment claims, thousands of Oregonians are still waiting for benefits and will continue to ask questions until everyone gets their claims paid. Our Lindsay Nadrich getting answers tonight for people who still cannot seem to get a check. Lindsay?
Yeah, the Employment Department says 99% of the initial regular unemployment claims have now been processed. But as you mentioned, there are still thousands waiting who applied under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. And we're told that's what they're now focusing on.
I know a couple barbers that are at a point now where they're pretty much, do I pay my rent and sell my car? Or do I keep my car and live in it?
Going this long without unemployment benefits is forcing many people to make tough decisions. I've heard from dozens of people who are behind on bills and rent as they wait for benefits that never seem to come.
Here we are 14 weeks later, and it's been, I'd say, more of a nightmare of having like a carrot dangled in front of our face that we just can't reach.
Marty Caballero, who owns Slabtown Barbershop in Northwest Portland, filed a claim under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance or PUA program. Today, we learned he's one of thousands with PUA claims who are still waiting.
The numbers are not good, and they're not just numbers. Each number represents either a person that we've been able to get direly needed benefits to, or a person who is anxiously waiting for us to be able to do so.
Acting Director David Gerstenfeld told us 97,000 PUA claims have been filed. Of those, they determined 24,000 claims are eligible. And so far, they've paid benefits to 17,000 people. But there are still 70,000 PUA claims left that need to be entered into the system. So that's a lot of people who are still waiting for benefits. Marty tried calling 1,000 times yesterday and never got through on the phone. He finally had better luck this morning.
I'm still sick to my stomach with the idea that I kind of won the lottery and that I got through today and was able to take care of all this paperwork. What happens to the folks that just can't, and when are they going to get help?
Gerstenfeld says he knows it's still too difficult to call in, so they're hiring more employees and adding more phone lines. They're also doing more outreach and have about 15 National Guard members calling people with PUA claims. So in Marty's case, he actually found out the forms he submitted were blank. I asked about this today, and I heard that it's happening to multiple people. So when you fill out the form online, you're supposed to download it, save it to your computer, then fill it out. If you don't do that first, the form ends up being blank when you submit it. I know that's a little in the weeds here, but Marty told me he didn't even know this was happening for a couple of weeks. So if you're still waiting, it might be worth a double check.
Days of protests.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe! From Minneapolis to Washington, D.C.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! And west to Portland. Following the death of a black man at the hands of a white police officer now charged with his murder.
It's a new chapter in an old story of how law enforcement interacts with our communities of color.
Another death that stirs up questions of race and justice in Portland and beyond.
Race and Justice in Portland, a KOIN 6 town hall. Brought to you with limited interruptions by Center for Equity and Inclusion.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jeff Gianola, and tonight we take an up-close look at race and justice in Portland, a special KOIN 6 town hall.
And I'm Ken Body. For this virtual town hall, we are joined today by community leaders and local lawmakers. And over the next hour, we'll take a look at how we got here and how we will move forward.
In the past week, the death of George Floyd, while under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer, has ignited the country in protest. Today, thousands gathered to remember and honor Floyd at his memorial service.
All these people came to see my brother, and that's amazing to me that he touched so many people's hearts.
We've seen thousands of protesters, mostly peaceful, take to the streets of Portland demanding change on the heels of Floyd's murder.
And that begs the question, are there just a few bad apples, or is it part of police culture?
Where's the accountability? Where is the reform when it comes to police? But Ken, the big question is, where is the change after all these decades?
And that's part of what we're going to talk about now. Let's start with our panel. Antoinette Edwards, I saw that during the piece, you were very emotional about recalling these stories. So just give me your thoughts and what you think we can do when we see these incidents happen over and over again.
At KOIN 6, watching out for you means being there when our community is suffering. Some people have lost everything in these historic wildfires and need your help. Join us for a day of giving all day today on KOIN 6, KOIN.com, and Portland CW. Well, thousands of people in our communities have been forced from their homes, and they don't know if they'll have a home to return to. Now, we know this will be a very long road to recovery, and many of you want to help. And that's why we're partnering this evening with the American Red Cross, United Way, and Oregon Food Bank for this day of giving. And joining us from the United Way of Mid-Willamette Valley, Rhonda Wolf, to talk about how your donations can help. Rhonda, thanks for joining us. And it's already a difficult time with the pandemic. Now the wildfires that have just ravaged Oregon. How can our viewers help? What would be the best way?
Well, Jeff, right now the best way is cash donations are always nice. We have been very lucky with the community at large and with a lot of the local businesses, just in regards to getting our basic supplies. And so now we're starting to look at that next stage, which is the rebuilding stage, and how we're going to play a role in that. Now, if folks can't afford to give financially, we do have a list on our website that is updated daily that lists all of the different needs that we have for the folks who have been impacted by the fire.
You can go to KOIN.com right now to make your donation. Just click on the story that says Donate Now, and then you'll find links to Coastal Farm and Ranch, the Red Cross, Papa Murphy's is helping out, United Way, we just heard from Rhonda there, and the Oregon Food Bank. If you donate using these special links, all of the money will stay right here on our area to help with wildfire relief.
I don't want to go to any student funerals this year. I don't want to go to any teacher funerals this year.
It's a struggle to, be trying to work, but then also have your child there and trying to make sure they're getting their work done and they're learning.
I am absolutely unwilling to lose an entire school year for any of our kids.
Unfortunately, many districts are recognizing that the rate of transmission is not where we would hope it to be to allow full-scale in-site or on-site instruction.
You want to be safe. I mean, there's a virus out.
Kids, class, and coronavirus. What parents need to know. A KOIN 6 town hall.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to our town hall. Kids, class, and coronavirus, what parents need to know. I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Dan Tilkin. For the next hour, we'll be answering questions submitted by you, parents and students and teachers, about the upcoming school year. Tonight, we're joined live with a panel of school superintendents from across our area. are here to address your concerns.
Now, our guests are Guadalupe Guerrero from Portland Public Schools, Christy Perry of Salem Kaiser, Don Grotting with Beaverton School District, and Mark Molino from Evergreen Public Schools. And thank you all for joining us tonight.
So this is certainly a rapidly changing situation. When we started working on this project, parents were still looking at choosing an in-person or at-home learning, and now we know that students in our area will be starting the school year online.
Now, you all share a passion for our students' education, and Superintendent Guerrero, tonight let's start with you. How difficult has this whole process been, coming to terms with the health and safety risk of in-person classes, and then trying to shape an online model that could really have a long-term impact on our children?
Good evening. Thank you for having us. There's a little comfort knowing that I share this challenge with many of my colleagues, some of whom are joining us here this evening. We're going to continue to be guided by making sure that the health and safety of our students, our educators, our employees, that has to come first. Thankfully, we're in Oregon, where we're paying attention to those things. We have worked and collaborated with the governor's office to ensure that there's some metrics and some health guideposts to help inform our decisions. I know that many of us are working closely with our public health authorities and gathered medical experts. We have to make decisions that are informed by the best data available, and we know there will be some variability, but as a school system, nothing motivates us like making sure that we're doing our best to comply with our core mission, and that's making sure that there's a continuity of learning for our students. And therein lies the challenge when we have to make decisions that our campuses simply can't guarantee safety at this time. So how do we switch up that delivery model?
Tonight, you'll experience the Blues Festival like never before. We've got 90 minutes of top performances. And cap it off with an amazing fireworks show. Get ready to have some fun and enjoy celebrating the 4th of July with us.
KOIN 6 presents Blues Fest, Flashback, and Fireworks.
Happy Independence Day, and thank you for joining us for Blues Fest, Flashback, and Fireworks. During the next 2 hours, we'll have show-stopping performances from big-name headliners, up-and-comers, and your local Blues Fest favorites. Throughout the night, I'll be joined by guest artists for a special look back at some of the performances, and we'll cap off the night with a fireworks spectacular. Let's get the show started right now with this 2016 performance from a former backup singer for Prince who's made a name for herself. Here's Liv Warfield with I'm Not Giving Up.
All right, let's get it. I got you tearing down the walls. You wait just to see me fall. I'm saying I'm not giving up.
The Waterfront Blues Festival has a long history of feeding the hungry and helping musicians, and tonight is no different. The Blues Fest Flashback and Fireworks Show benefits Meals on Wheels people and Music Cares. Both play critical roles in our community to help people in need. We'll be learning more about what they do throughout the night, but you can go online right now to KOIN.com to make a donation to help feed people in our community and help musicians with medical needs.
KOIN 6 is your election headquarters. The presidential race comes down to this. We're standing by as results from key battleground states could be coming our way within moments.
Also ahead, Portland will decide on who should be the mayor. The last words from the incumbent and his challenger with hours until the ballot deadline.
Plus, bracing for reaction, whatever it may be, to the outcome of tonight's vote. What we could see as the night develops.
Live, you're watching KOIN 6 News at 4. Watching out for you.
But it's our expression of a true democracy.
Americans casting their ballots and making their voices heard. Now, election results are going to start coming in soon from all across the U.S., and they'll continue pouring in throughout the evening. You're watching the news at 4 right here on KOIN 6, your local election headquarters. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Dinh.
And I'm Dan Tilkin. So much to get to. Our KOIN 6 reporters are fanned out across the metro region, ready to bring us the latest from elections offices in 4 different counties. We're on both sides of the Columbia River with team coverage.
First, we've been saying for weeks now, this election, as you know, unlike any other. And while millions will head to the polls today, a record number of Americans have been voting already. 97 million early and absentee votes have already been cast. That is 70% of all the votes cast in 2016.
In the metro area, Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties are all above 75% as of noon today. Keep in mind, there are more than 1.2 million registered voters in those 3 counties. Marion County is just behind at 68%. Clark County is now above 80% turnout. One of the big races is for mayor of Portland. Incumbent Ted Wheeler facing challenger Sarah Iannarone. It's a close race, according to many observers.
Portland's mayor facing many tough issues right now, from homelessness to violent protests. And, of course, the pandemic. Our Lisa Balick reached out to the candidates today. She joins us live now with much more. Lisa?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, Dan, Elizabeth. At this point, with 75% of Multnomah County already voting, the candidates are still reaching out to people they say who are undecided at this hour. And again, only a few more hours left to vote. Now, today we talked to Mayor Ted Wheeler. He's the former state treasurer before he became mayor, and he spent a lot of time facing the challenges of a growing homeless population and nightly protest violence as mayor in the past 4 years, issues that will remain, obviously, after Election Day. Meanwhile, Sarah Iannarone, who is a small business owner, community organizer, and urban policy consultant, she's working at her phone bank today to get ballots turned in and to talk with undecided voters. We talked with both candidates earlier today.
I have the reputation of bringing people together in the community to get things done, and we're already doing it around the early response to COVID, the dollars that we put out the door right away to strengthen households and to support small businesses to help them get through this crisis, and the work we're doing to open up more shelter space to get people off our sidewalks.
Portlanders are demanding change. They don't want more of the same, they want progress, and I believe that they see big, bold answers in my plans for progress.
From KOIN 6 News, your local election headquarters, this is live coverage of the 2020 elections.
It is election night. KOIN 6, your local election headquarters, as we bring you results tonight from all the big races. Glad you're with us, everyone. I'm Jeff Giannolo.
And I'm Elizabeth Dinh. We have a lot to cover, and know that we also have team coverage spread out across our area. We've got reporters covering races and ballot returns in Oregon and Washington, as well as protests happening right here in our area. Know that we'll be checking in with them throughout this evening.
But now let's take a look at some of the results, and let's get right to the Portland mayor race. And incumbent Ted Wheeler, challenger Sarah Iannarone, and you can see Mayor Ted Wheeler with about a 25,000 lead when votes over Sarah Iannarone, who issued a statement about an hour ago saying she was going to go to bed. Let's wait till all the votes are counted. And the big news there, 41,000 write-in votes. So there were a lot of people who didn't like either candidate.
As we told you, Mayor Ted Wheeler is in position to win re-election for another term, as we showed you the latest numbers for that race. And now City Commissioner Chloe Eudaly has conceded her race, losing her seat on the council.
Lisa Balick's been paying close attention to the city races and that council upset. A surprise to many, Lisa. What do you say?
Yeah, there's no question it was a surprise to a lot of people, but the new commissioner-elect told me tonight that he is not surprised by the win. Now, 52-year-old Mingus Mapps had actually worked in Commissioner Eudaly's Office of Community and Civic Life, the city's neighborhood association system as well. He's a former political science college professor and was endorsed by the Portland Police Union. Mapps does not want to defund the police, but he does support changing police response to certain types of calls. I asked him tonight about what he wants to work on.
Well, I think we wake up tomorrow or even go to bed tonight deeply concerned about COVID and also deeply concerned about the need to open up our city again. I want to see our businesses open, our schools open, and our hearts opened up again. And then after that, I think we need to deal with police reform and houselessness.
Now, Mapp says he was surprised, though, how much of a win it was over Chloe Eudaly. Now, she had beat an incumbent herself to win her council seat just 4 years ago. Eudaly reacted to the loss by saying, quote, "I'm sad for Portland. I think Portland is in for a surprise when they realize who they have elected." Ouch. Well, Mapps, by the way, will take office in January, and the current city council is expected to have their regular meeting tomorrow. Should be interesting. Live in downtown Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
Historic wildfires continue to devastate Oregon, destroying entire communities. Evacuees anxious to check on their homes.
I think it's probably gone. I'm not about 99% sure it's gone. The whole city's gone, pretty much.
Emergency responders are working around the clock, focusing on saving lives, even while evacuating their own families.
Several of our people had to just do that. They had to evacuate, and then they came right back to work as soon as they got the people out.
Despite orders to go now, some still decide to stay.
I have too much history and too much of myself here, and I don't want to lose it. And sure, it might cost me my life, but it'd be damn well worth it.
Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 11. I'm Elizabeth Din.
I'm Jeff Gianola. At 11, here's the latest on the fires burning right now across Oregon. 1 million acres of land have burned so far. We're learning tonight of 2 more deaths, bringing the total to 7 people now reported dead in Oregon, including a 13-year-old boy and his grandmother in the town of Lyons. More than 40,000 people evacuated from their homes at this hour, and tonight 500,000 homes remain in evacuation zones, most of them under be ready or be set to go orders. On the coast in Lincoln County, the 2,400-acre Echo Mountain Complex fire has now destroyed 100 homes.
And we have team coverage of these historic wildfires for you tonight. We do start with Jennifer Dowling, who talked with the family of that teenager and grandmother who died in the Beachy Creek fire. Jennifer, just a heartbreaking situation for them. What did they tell you?
Well, Elizabeth, it's such a tragic story. Family members are trying to piece together exactly what happened when the fire came toward their home. They think that 13-year-old Wyatt Tofty was trying to drive his grandmother and his dog Duke out of the fire zone when he went off the road and passed away. This is home video of Wyatt Tofty in 2013, showing the family celebrating Christmas in happier times with the young man everyone knew as the sweetheart.
Just such a good boy. I'm sure when they went to bed that night, they thought it was going to be just like another day.
Wyatt's great aunts Mary and Susan say the family peace was shattered when Wyatt's mom Angie Massa woke up to fire surrounding the home with no way out.
The flames were all around it and around the car.
They say the power had gone out earlier. Dad Chris had gone in search of a generator and wasn't home. The family says Angie had gotten her elderly mom, ailing from a broken leg, into the car, but that the tires were starting to burn.
If I was in that situation and I thought it was life and death, I would tell my child to run.
Meantime, Dad Chris made his way around roadblocks to try to rescue his family. He first came across Angie crawling along the road and at first did not know it was her.
So he helps her into the car, and then he's saying, "I'm really sorry, but I've got to keep going because my family's up there." He said, "I've got to get up to my son and my wife," and she scribbled, "I am your wife, but I've also heard that she was able to whisper it or something," and he didn't even recognize her.
They think Wyatt had returned to the family car.
He got in there and tried to drive the car and start coming down the hill, then went off the hill, went off to the side for some reason. I guess, like all the tires were just burned up and everything. The pavement is so hot. He was found with his dog in his lap, and that's the way they found him. Ironically, that gives me small comfort.
A GoFundMe page has been created to help Angie recover from critical burns and to get through this unimaginable tragedy.
To find out that your son died in the fire, I just don't know how you deal with that.
so sad, and family members say Chris, the dad, is visiting with Angie at the hospital along with other family members to help her during this very tough and tragic time. If you'd like to help the family, there is a GoFundMe page that we mentioned that is on our website. There's a link there at KOIN.com. Also, those great aunts say they're concerned that more people may be dead near the family's home on that remote road. They say there could be many more people missing. The Marion County Sheriff's Office confirms that they still have at least 10 people that are missing in this Beachy Creek fire. Back to you.
Yeah, just the tragedy of these Oregon fires. Jennifer, thank you. The Beachy Creek and Lions Head fires in Marion County have now burned more than 300,000 acres combined. That's bigger than New York City. This is video of the town of Detroit, what's left of it, after fire tore through. Even the marina at the lake, Detroit Lake, gone. Home after home destroyed by the fire. Evacuation orders remain in place for thousands of homes. At this point, we don't have an exact number of homes lost, but crews are still trying to assess damage. But there are many people who now have nothing to go back to.
The fire is very scary because it's like where I've grown up, and my dad took me fishing up there in Detroit all the time. And seeing the stuff that's been going on and all of it burning down is very scary.
The folks in Detroit Lake are just great, and now their town absolutely wiped away. Many evacuees tell us they didn't get much notice to evacuate, were only able to grab a few things to take with them. So far, the Marion County Sheriff's Office has confirmed 4 deaths. 27 people have been reported missing from the evacuation area.
Fire management leaders tell us the fires burning in Clackamas County will be one of the top priority areas in the nation.
Okay, let's switch to Jenny Young outside in Estacada, which is one of the places hardest hit. What have they been using to battle these flames tonight, Jenny?
Okay, Jeff, Elizabeth, just getting an update on the Riverside fire within the hour. It has burned just over 130,000 acres, nearly 250 firefighters working on it, and it is 0% contained. Now, the person in charge of the national team sent here to help battle it says that they will put a lot of horsepower into fighting this, including more firefighters, more engines, and air support. But we talked to some civilians out here today who are determined to not let this spread. An eerie drive down Highway 224 on day 5 of raging wildfires in Oregon. And once again, the sun is no match for the smoke. We shot this video this afternoon, but it's hard to tell. It looks more like sundown. We had to use our headlights.
We're just driving around putting hot spots out.
We caught up with these men on the side of the highway. They told us they evacuated their homes in Estacada earlier this week.
Nothing like this. I've never seen smoke like this. I've never been out in something like this, but it's just something that kind of we feel like has to be done.
Now they've taken it upon themselves to put out spot fires in this area.
It is what it is. It's a job that needs to be done, and we're going to help out as much as we can.
It's a bit tough to see through all the dense smoke, but the Riverside fires already burned through here, leaving behind miles of charred brush. However, the men told me they spotted flames rekindling as they drove by.
Yeah, there was one up on the hill up here.
They used shovels to beat out those hot spots.
Well, we got 550 gallons with pumps and shovels and a generator around the pumps.
At one point, an officer with the U.S. Forest Service asked the group to leave, saying it wasn't safe. Fire officials say with the help of better weather conditions today, firefighters were able to create fire lines around 2 fingers of the Riverside fire that threatened Estacada yesterday. Clackamas County emergency management officials say once you have left a level 3 evacuation area, do not go back. It's not safe. Don't go back until fire officials say it's safe to do so. Now, there are also many road closures around Clackamas County, including the one here that we're standing in front of. It's been up for the last 3 days on 224 at Eagle Creek. If you need a list of road closures, we have posted them to KOIN.com. Reporting live tonight outside Estacada, Jenny Young, KOIN 6 News.
All right, Jenny Young with the very latest there in Clackamas County. Thank you, Jenny. We turn now to Natasha with our weather and the wind direction and the importance that'll play in the days ahead.
Yeah, overall we've seen quite a fluctuation here, but on the light end, meaning little changes in wind direction, but wind velocity, meaning wind speed, not all that strong. As we get into these late evening hours, we'll see a touch of an offshore flow, just a little bit. But otherwise, let's zoom in a little bit closer here, closer to the Beachy Creek fire and also Riverside fires, noticing wind speed anywhere from about 5 to 6 miles per hour. Initially, we'll see wind coming out of the southeast, but it won't stay that way. In fact, we'll see a wind reversal once again tomorrow, more of that onshore flow returning. The good thing out of all this is that we're not expecting any gusty winds upwards of 50 miles per hour happening for us. Everything going to be more or less calm. But now we have to deal with that air quality. More details on that coming up.
All right, Natasha. And now the ugliness of this disaster we're going through. Officers tracked down these two men. They're suspected of looting in the town of Detroit after fire swept through there. They spotted a van reported to be involved in the looting, chased it to a golf course where they deployed spike strips. These men, Anthony Boda and Alexander Jones, ran from the van but were quickly taken into custody, robbing from people who have already lost everything. Deputies found several looted items in the back of that van. Well, some people in Lincoln County out on the coast can now go back to their homes, but we learned today at least 100 homes were destroyed. That's according to Oregon Emergency Management. The Echo Mountain Fire Complex still burning more than 2,400 acres. It's burning 6 miles northeast of Lincoln City. Some mandatory evacuation levels are now being downgraded. That's great news, meaning some people can go back home, but may need to evacuate again if the fire shifts. Now, we spoke with evacuees who said they had little notice earlier in the week.
I think there needed to be more communication earlier in the day. But again, I understand that these situations can unfold quickly, and no one's going to be perfect. So the bottom line is we got all our horses out, we got all our people out.
Well, crews are working to restore power to the hospital in Lincoln City so that can reopen.
Up next, our wildfire coverage continues as we check in with evacuees forced from their homes, now seeking refuge at the Clackamas Town Center. Keep it here. You're watching KOIN 6 News. Watching out for you. Welcome back. All of Clackamas County is under some sort of evacuation order as the Riverside fire continues to burn. We want to show you this video from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office right here. Really dramatic video as you can see the heat and the fire from those FLIR cameras.
And if you look closely, you can see some of the destruction as well. So many of the homes were destroyed. We know 33 at least as of tonight. Many of those evacuees are getting help at the Clackamas Town Center. Jamie Chambers there tonight speaking to those forced to leave their livelihoods behind. Jamie, what did they have to say to you?
Yeah, Jeff, there's about a few hundred people here, evacuees, that are still trying to deal with this, trying to bed down, get some sort of normalcy, but right now, anxiety seems to be everywhere.
It's devastating now. The people have lost their homes, everything they've owned.
Dozens and dozens of RVs, campers, and just folks sleeping in their cars again staged in the refuge of the Clackamas Town Center parking lot, sharing stories of narrow escapes and anxieties of what they might find when they return home.
I'm worried for every Oregonian. Aren't you?
Sandy Briers lives way out on 213 and feels fortunate to have a little comfort in her RV. But others, like Wayne Hawk, didn't have time to plan their escape. Last time you got to get a shower?
Monday night.
Hawk says he was lucky to get his hounds out with the fire moving in quickly.
I saw that glowing really bad, and then there was another one right behind our house.
My family was ready and packed to evacuate if necessary, and then I came here to help.
Milwaukee CERT member Cameron Bergen has been handing out food and is heartened by the community working together in one of the most difficult times the state has ever faced.
More people come to donate than people that come to pick up. So just the generosity of the community is overwhelming.
So far, for those people who have evacuated, there is help. But for those who haven't left, there is genuine concern.
Firefighters out there and stuff trying to get people out. And I worry about the people that didn't leave in time and might be stranded up there.
One of the consistent stories that you hear over and over from these evacuees is those who waited found themselves in dangerous traffic. So the message is get out early if you are concerned at all. There is still room here at the Clackamas Town Center For KOIN 6 News, Jamie Chambers will send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Now from Clackamas County to Lane County, you see the Holiday Farm fire burning there is more than 156,000 acres in size. This is burning near the Eugene-Springfield metro area. An evacuation shelter is set up at Springfield High School now. More than 17,000 buildings are threatened at this point. Plus, the Oregon National Guard has staff at road checkpoints, and that allows county deputies to patrol the neighborhoods. Also, more than 400 firefighters are working on this fire.
You know, Elizabeth, we've been talking about, of course, the smoky skies, but Natasha reminds us it comes down to visibility, which can be dangerous.
Yeah, whether you call it smoke or fog, whatever it is, it's not allowing you to even see down to your next exit when you're on the freeway. Take a look at your visibility right now. It's becoming more widespread, that low visibility, as smoke continues to move out to the northeast. We're down to a mile. Now, this is just reporting from your airports. There's spaces in between where your air quality is either going to be a little bit better or a little bit worse. One of our reporters was actually down towards Eugene earlier this evening. He just got back about an hour ago, and he was saying the drive to Eugene was definitely downright scary. So that was a long I-5. You can see less than a mile visibility Eugene, probably closer to about a quarter of a mile Salem, down to 1 mile. Now look out towards Madras and Bend. It took all day for the smoke to reach those areas, but now that it's there, visibility down to a mile for you. The Dalles, Pendleton, now Burns is feeling it as well, down to about 3 miles. Baker City still at 9 miles, but this smoke is going to continue to move out towards the northeast. Over to Kalama, talking about visibility that's low. We're still seeing it there, 58 degrees. Temperatures cooler than normal thanks to that smoke, basically covering the sun all day. So over to Ridgefield, visibility here not too bad. At least you can see about a mile down the road or more, 53 degrees in Ridgefield. Air quality is definitely suffering. We've been talking about this a lot, so now we're looking for the opportunity to perhaps change that. But overall, the very unhealthy to hazardous categories really encompass not just Western Oregon, Western Washington, but all the way out to northeastern Oregon, Pendleton, as you make your way over towards Baker City. This is not going to change really until we can get the air moving a little bit more. Air quality alerts do remain in effect until Monday at noon. We add to that, still have a red flag warning to the south. That's right around Klamath Falls and Klamath County. Adding to the mix now, a dense smoke advisory. We were just talking about your visibility being affected by the smoke, and that's why the dense smoke advisories are in place for most of Oregon until at least Sunday night into Monday. Portland right now is at 56 degrees. Wind is calm. Your dew point, 51. You trade one thing for the next. Now we need to mix up the air just enough, but not too much because we don't want to have strong winds. But here we go into Monday night and Tuesday morning. Next chance to see some rain. This is encouraging, but you know when this next system comes through, the wind direction will be changing. We're not expecting anything terribly gusty, but you will see a change, smoke going from one direction to the next. So expect that to happen next week. You'll see some clearing, and then perhaps the next day you'll see air quality getting a little bit worse. Over to Friday. Perhaps each day next week, we might be able to tap into a little bit of rain. That's very encouraging. How much we could possibly get, that's still in the question mark category. Temperatures overall will be in the upper 60s overnight temps, right around the mid to low 50s. So some coolish days ahead with all that smoke in the air.
Although we are looking forward to that rain. Natasha, thank you. Still ahead, returning to the destruction, difficult images, and we'll show you some of what's left after fire burns through a southern Oregon town.
Take a look behind me at the destruction. This is old Highway 99 down in southern Oregon. Look at this. This is the Alameda fire in southern Oregon. It totally destroyed the towns of Talent and Phoenix, Oregon. At this point, it's only 20% contained. And FEMA says, and listen to this, 600 homes burned in this fast-moving blaze. 100 businesses were destroyed. People who live there now going back into that area to search through the rubble for anything they can salvage.
It is a small town. It's a very close community. Obviously, you know, we're all close-knit and want to help each other out and obviously find each other's animals if we can.
There are 2 confirmed deaths connected to this fire, and 2 firefighters were hurt. Highway 99 between Medford and Ashland remains closed, and several exits on I-5 are also shut down tonight.
And we can tell you tonight, deputies have made an arson arrest in Jackson County, saying 41-year-old Michael Bakella started a fire near several homes in Phoenix while the Alameda fire was already bearing down on the neighborhood. Some homeowners say they saw him lighting the fire next to railroad tracks, but couldn't stop him because they were already just trying to run away. Bakella faces arson and meth charges.
Well, the stress of the fires on top of the stress already from the pandemic can cause a lot of mental health issues for everyone, especially, though, for children. One expert we talked with suggests the best thing that you can do is you and your family get up and moving, even if that's staying indoors to avoid the smoke.
When we're in stressful situations, we start producing a lot of our hormones start producing stress, and then we're sitting there, and that all of those hormones just sit in our body. So when we're getting up and moving, whether it's walking outside or having a dance party inside, we're getting those stress hormones detoxed from our bodies.
And she also suggests getting creative, get active, even if you aren't able to leave your home due to the smoke. Find ways to move inside. Just be silly with the kids. They love it.
Well, right now, so many people are helping out in this time of need, and Nike is donating $1 million to help with the relief efforts. Some of that will go to immediate aid, the rest to long-term recovery in communities impacted by all these fires. Papa Murphy's is matching donations up to $100,000 for the Red Cross for the fire victims. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
10 years after Maurice Lucas's death, we go back to the Blazer Championship, where Luke cemented his reputation as the enforcer.
Maurice was not a tough guy off the court. He was only a tough guy on the court.
Revisiting the brawl, Monday at 5 on Where We Live.
This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
Yeah, we want to update you on the wildfire story we've been covering now for several days. Historic wildfires burning all across Oregon. As of tonight, 1 million acres have burned across the state.
And we're learning tonight of 2 more deaths, bringing the total to 7 people now reported dead, including a teenager and his grandmother in Lyons. More than 40,000 people are evacuated from their homes, and tonight 500,000 homes are still in evacuation zones, most of them under the Be Ready or Be Set orders.
In Lincoln County on the coast, the 2,400-acre Echo Mountain Complex fire has now destroyed 100 homes. We have extensive wildfire coverage online at KOIN.com and on our KOIN 6 News app, and as part of our KOIN 6 podcast network. You can find the most up-to-date evacuation orders, shelter locations, and an interactive quality map.
And now to a final look at our weather with Natasha.
Air quality alerts continue through the weekend. So Elizabeth and Jeff, if you're hoping for a little bit of clarity, you're going to have to wait a few days before we get there. Especially if you're trying to drive anywhere tonight, you might as well consider the smoke out there just like dense fog. There is a dense smoke advisory in effect for portions of the state. That continues through Sunday at least. Next week, we might be talking about some rain.
Hey, just want to say it's great working with our good friend Elizabeth Din. Always, Elizabeth. Take care. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.